While being a self-confessed lazy man, Jeff Bridges is also one of the most steadily employed actors around, dedicating himself to and practicing a craft he truly digs. He has appeared in more than 60 films and TV productions across the sands of time, with his wide repertoire including comedies, dramas, mysteries, sci-fi, cartoons, and even a documentary narration. It seems that adult entertainment is the only kind of film he hasn't done. Born into the Hollywood scene, you'd think Jeff would have ended up a kind of fragile, egomaniacal movie star with emotional problems. By all accounts, he's extremely cool to work with on sets and is generous and friendly with cast and crew alike. Perhaps it's because he's into some kind of Eastern thing that he apparently sees through the illusory nature of stardom and recognizes there's much more to life than waltzing around Hollywood with a bunch of sycophants. In short, he's not only the dude, but he's one hell of a great dude, and we're going to find out a bit about his life through his talks with Bernie Glassman in the book The Dude and the Zen Master, where Jeff explores how his Zen practice and his life experience inform one another as he discusses his loving relationship with his parents, his marriage, his highly successful career, and his warm connection with the audience. So, here goes. Jeff would sometimes care too much. He would sometimes worry for a long time about a big scene. How am I going to do this? Meantime, there's another little scene he's not concerned about at all, and he's sure he knows what to do. When the day comes and he's filming the big scene, which is a snap, yet the smaller little one is trouble, he's reflecting all that time that he was worried about the wrong thing. Mark Twain said, "I'm a very old man and have suffered a great many misfortunes, most of which never happened." So, if you're going to wait to get all the information we think we need before we act, we'll never act because there's an infinite amount of information out there. Just throw the effing ball is what Jeff says. Just do it. Let's get into the thing, see where it takes us. When the camera's rolling, we want it to capture us discovering the character, not recreating what we discovered or figured out days ago in rehearsals. We should strive for the kind of acting that shows no apparent obligation to the audience. The audience is just a fly on the wall. In life, we should be spontaneous. Just orgasm and just go. When Jeff was young, his mother would force him to go to dancing classes, and he ended up loving it. That introduced him to not just dancing, but also to working with someone without having a goal. Years later, when his mom sent him off to work, she'd always say, "Remember, have fun and don't take it too seriously." So now he has this word for much of what he does in life. Plorking means not playing and not working, just plorking. Once, while working with Kevin Bacon on a movie together, just before they began a scene, when most of them would feel the normal anxiety that actors feel before they start performance, Kevin would look at Jeff and the other actors with a very serious expression on his face and say, "Remember, everything depends on this," and it will make them all laugh. So remember next time, just plork. Here's some Zen practice that Jeff encourages. Wake up, go to the bathroom, pee, brush your teeth, look in the mirror, and laugh at yourself. We should do it every morning to start off the day as a practice. Part of what makes the dude in The Big Lebowski great is that his character never felt the need to achieve something. He likes lying in the bathtub, drinking his White Russians with the whale music on. He's just taking it easy, taking it the way it is. People talk about being seekers, searching for meaning, happiness, whatever. Be the finder who finds all these things right around yourself. When we care about perfection, we care about an expectation, but there's also caring for where we are right now, for what's happening right now. Let's befriend what's happening, not just where we're supposed to be or what the world should be like. This is where we are now. So how do we care for ourselves this minute? It's to drop the expectation of perfection that we have in our head and jam with what's going on instead. According to Merriam-Webster's official definition, to abide means to wait patiently for something or to endure without yielding, accept without objection. this is not easy feat, especially in a culture that is success-driven, instant gratification-oriented, and impatient like ours. True abiding is letting go of the outcome and going with the flow, and it's a spiritual gift that requires great mastery. That is what life is, constant change, ups and downs, and like the dude, we have to abide. Jeff has an excellent way to lean into uncomfortableness, which he believes is an opening channel to receive gifts and to appreciate the struggles as opportunities to wake up. One thing he does with his wife is they will sit opposite each other, and one person expresses what's on his or her mind, and the other person just listens and receives till the first person has no more to say, and then they switch. They keep on doing that till both of them feel like they're done. It's a jam. Sometimes a shift happens, sometimes it doesn't, but there's definitely intimacy in it, and sometimes even humor. The nice thing is you get all these little bumps and discomforts to explore, which are really opportunities, and they keep our curiosity going. Oh, this is interesting. What's this about? Why did I get so upset? It's by leaning into things, revealing some embarrassing moments, but also being honest and truthful. We are all like those dolls that are full of sand at the bottom. You push them and they oscillate quickly from side to side and then come back to center. So as we practice life, we're filling up with sand. At first, even a weak force hits us and we're almost knocked over. But we oscillate in big arcs till we come up standing again. As we practice more and more, it takes longer and stronger to force us to get knocked over, even when the oscillations aren't so big, and before we know it, we're back to center. No matter how much sand we put in, no matter how much we practice, there will always be some force that's big enough to knock us over. Life's not about getting knocked over, it's about how fast we can back up again. So if we get knocked over, that's a sign that we're not practicing well enough. All that happened was that we met a situation that was a little bigger than us, and that gave us a new opportunity for more practice. When Jeff works on a movie, he sees that everyone is different, that they all serve a different purpose and are all aspects of the whole. What he finds freeing is turning over to the director, holding his or her opinion above his, unless he gets something that comes from a higher power. If it's that intense, he'll be subversive and try to sneak his way in there. But generally, he likes to empower the director and give them power over himself so that he can transcend himself and make something bigger than what he has in his own mind, maybe even surprise himself. All the people have different opinions and visions of what's going on, which enriches his experience and also makes for a better movie. Therefore, Jeff will never force these guys to do what he wants. If we don't get the benefit of hearing another aspect of ourselves, creativity is gone. Making a movie, Jeff often does something to create his own empty space. For example, once he studied for the role, learned his lines about how to play his character, and feels really ready, the other actor might not be doing it how he imagined, so it's starting to feel tight. What he then does is start singing or doing somersaults around the stage, doing something that's apparently inappropriate. Once he led the cast and crew in a big session, and it shifted the vibe, it changed the tightness to looseness. When we do the unexpected, everyone starts wondering what else can happen. They start reassessing all the givens of that moment. And the great thing is that in movies, all of this is totally allowed. It's even encouraged. Creativity is what it's called. The idea is to get empty so that the thing can come through us. It's finding the space to dance in, and there's no need to feel harnessed or limited in any way. Jeff has been often asked in interviews why he does the movies he does, and is there a thread that runs through them. At first he thought there wasn't, but then he realized that many of his films have the theme of difficulty and opportunity in them. What appears to be drag is actually a wonderful opportunity. Chinese language, which is made up of symbols rather than letters, consists of two characters for the meaning of difficulty, and one of those characters means opportunity. Hidden within every difficulty lies opportunity. As an actor, he feels that he represents a community, the family of a man and woman, and his job is to show how different people will act in different situations. So when it comes to feelings of struggle and suffering, he's not alone. His suffering is on behalf of the whole group, on behalf of all of us. It's also the beginning of compassion. One of his favorite actors is Tommy Lee Jones. He brings an intensity to his character that is so rich and mysterious. He's very opaque. You don't see all the wheels turning which he admires in actors. To him, it seems more the way people act in real life. He doesn't particularly care for the kind of actors who feel obligated to show you everything. That's what is meant by indicating. They're going to show you what they think the audience needs to see to tell the story. But with Tommy, like a lot of other actors, you don't see the work, you don't see the practice, the effort. He's not trying to do anything, he's just there. In life, we tend to be constrained by what we don't have instead of appreciating what we do have. So let's always look at the ingredients we have. Let's say we want to make the best meal possible and we're going to eat it and enjoy it. But when we look in our fridge, our cupboard, we don't have the oatmeal or the eggs. We want to say, I'm not going to do it then. That's what we do in life. We say, I don't have enough time, so I'm not going to do this. Or I don't have enough money, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, we could say, okay, I don't have oatmeal or eggs, but I have green peppers and cheese and crackers. We prepare, eat, and appreciate the meal. Whereas if we just sit around bitching about all the things we don't have and not eating anything, we would starve. And that goes for life too. Look at the ingredients we have, make the best meal possible, and offer it. Don't forget to offer it. If we make the meal just for ourselves, we don't get the same pleasure. Work with whatever we have and make something beautiful. Use our ingredients and take action. Jeff believes there are two streams pulling at us at all times, or at him anyway. One is towards life and the other is towards death. The one towards life says open, open, open. So there's opening up and there's resistance to opening up. We're afraid that life will say, oh yeah, well check this out. You think you can do that? Okay, let's see you. The more you open, things just seem to get tougher and more demanding. When that happens to Jeff, his impulse is just to say, fuck it. Please, let it be over. Let me just be a rock or something. I'm tired of this. He resists giving what's needed because the need is so great. Life's asking for everything and he's holding on. So crap will always come to light, but it's hard to welcome something new because we have no idea what it will look like or where it's going to take us. It's not easy, but it's always growth. Jeff says that he always feels a panic with making a movie. When he chooses a role, he always wonders, does he really have what it takes to pull it off? So he resists as much as he can until part comes along that is scarier than life. Crazy Heart is a perfect example. It had so many things going for it. He got to do his own music, got to be with his friends, got to have John Goodwin write a tune. Then the voices started. But what happens if you don't pull it off? What if this isn't what it's all about? And then he does it and it's better than he ever thought. Every once in a while, especially with Crazy Heart, The Big Lebowski, or any other of his favorite movies, he's got high expectations going in, and those expectations are blown out of the water because something completely more wonderful happens. There's resistance, a pushing against it, and then boom, a wave breaks. But for that to happen, he has to be ready to experiment with those uncomfortable feelings. He has learned to notice these reactions more and more as they happen. Instead of saying yes or no, instead of jumping in, he gently leans into the challenge a little bit. He's learned to create more space for himself. The way it gives him a sense of greater freedom. And that is what acting is all about.